So I recently saw a Reddit post that asked, does compression really matter? And in the post, it was a music producer who had actually been producing for several years now and still didn't quite understand compression and like when, why, and how to use it. And he seemed a bit frustrated. So in this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you 3 examples of compression and talk about why we use compression and show a little bit of how we use compression. The first example will be on some vocals, and we're going to talk about using compression to control dynamics. The second example will be on some drums to show you how you can kind of shape the tone of different sounds or signals. And the third example is going to be using compression on your master channel. And with the first example, what I want you to keep in mind with controlling dynamics is even though I'm using this on a vocal, this will apply to anything that has a wide dynamic range that you feel like it's necessary to control the dynamic range. And I'm going to talk about how you would know if this is necessary or not. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. I've got a vocal here and I've got this labeled and I have volume matched them as closely as I can. And you can see this is the lead vocal, no compression, and lead vocal with compression. In this video, I'm not going to necessarily talk about all of the different parameters of compression or how exactly to set your compressor up, even though you can see the settings I have. I'll go over it a little bit briefly, but I have other videos on that topic that you can check out where I go in a lot more detail. But I want to show you what to listen for and what to look out for when it comes to compressing, so you'll know exactly when and why to use a compressor. So I'm going to play through this vocal with no compressor. And as you can see, if you look at the wave here, it's pretty even right here. But as it gets further along, she starts to sing a little bit wider. And as you see right in this area, it kind of jumps up a bit. And what I want you to listen for is that it's going to sound like the vocal is kind of coming in and out. It might be kind of a little bit too loud sometimes, and then it kind of fades out. And it's kind of like going at you in a way that's kind of unpleasant, and it causes you to kind of like, you're just not able to hear it that well, and it's just kind of a little bit jarring. And so listen to that, and then I'll play the example with compression, and then I'll go back and forth so you can really hear the difference. So let's go ahead and take a listen right now.
You're so beautiful in the sunlight, and I gave you all of mine. Helped you grow, would have stayed in the sky for the whole night. I only ever wanted your company, but now I don't even have the energy to try.
So you can listen here when she says, I only ever wanted your company. It kind of goes in and then out a little bit too far. Let's listen one more time.
I only ever wanted your company, but now I don't even have the energy to try.
And now let's go ahead and listen to the full vocal with compression, volume match as closely as I could get it. Let's go ahead and take a listen. See if you notice a difference. What you're going to listen for is it's going to be a lot more even. The loud parts aren't going to be jumping out at you, and the quiet parts aren't going to feel like they're lost. Go ahead and take a listen now.
You're so beautiful in the sunlight, and I gave you all of mine. Helped you grow, would have stayed in the sky for the whole night. I only ever wanted your company, but now I don't even have the energy to try.
So just in case you didn't hear a difference, I really want to hone in on this section right here and tell you what to listen for just so you can hear. So first of all, this breath that comes in, you're actually going to hear that breath exaggerated a little bit on the compressed version. And that's because we're raising the volume of even the quiet parts, which that's something that you have to address later. I'm not going to do in this video, but we're going to have to manually turn down the breaths or use a deep breath plugin or something like that, because when you compress, you're going to be raising things like sibilants and raising breaths. But let's go ahead and I'm going to play the uncompressed version right now, right here, this section.
I only ever wanted your company.
Okay, so now when she says overly ever wanted, wanted is loud, and then the end of the word wanted, it gets really, really quiet. Your company. Now listen one more time, and then I'll play the compressed version.
I only ever wanted your company, but I only ever wanted your company, but now I don't even. I only ever wanted your company, but
So you can hear how when she says wanted, it doesn't jump out at you. And when it comes down, you hear the end of the word and it's not getting lost. And so this is the beauty of compression right here. And I think that's a really good example. And so what you have to understand about vocals is if you were to download a splice vocal, for example, what you want to look out for is a lot of splice vocals are going to be compressed or processed already. And so if it already sounds really even, if you can already hear the vocal, the quiet parts, the loud parts aren't too loud, then you probably don't want to use compression, because then you're going to end up over compressing it and adding that weird over compressed sound that you kind of want to avoid. And when it comes to non-vocals, a lot of times synthesizers or things like that, they might not even need compression. You might just want to use some saturation or things like that, or maybe some compression to kind of shape the tone. But as far as controlling dynamics, you really have to be more conscious when you're using more organic instruments like a piano or a vocal, for example, or other more organic instruments where there might be more of a dynamic range, which is really just the difference between the quiet parts and the loud parts. Okay, so for this example, I'm going to show you how I use compression on drums a couple different ways. And so I'll go ahead and play this drum loop that I've got going here. And it's actually not just a loop, it's like a bunch of drum elements, shakers, claps, all sorts of stuff underneath this drum group here in Ableton. And so if I go ahead and play it really quick, here's what it sounds like. So I could just leave that how it is. However, I set this compressor up right here, this Pro C compressor. And if you look, I've kind of lowered, I'm going to lower the threshold maybe a little bit more than I would normally need to, just so you can really hear it. I've got a 4:1 ratio, and I'm using a slow attack time. And what that does is with a slow attack, the attack time is how quickly the compressor starts to react once the signal goes through the threshold. And when it's slow, those little transients get to pop through, and they actually emphasize the poppy transient parts of the drums. And then I actually made it a hard knee too, which basically means it's going to be more obvious compression. And then doing that, you're really going to hear the drums pop. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the loop again, and then I'm going to turn the compressor on and off so you can really hear a difference here, okay? And so it is a little subtle. I mean, I definitely hear it, but what you're going to hear is the drums with the compression turned on are going to be punchier and just kind of tighter sounding. Okay. And so that's one good example of using compression on your drums. And then here I've got parallel compression set up. And so using an audio effect rack in Ableton and then creating a chain, what this does is now I've got the Pro C here, and I've got this chain, this is the uncompressed drums, and this is the compressed drums. And the way that you set up parallel compression usually is you want to have actually some really harsh, like fast attack compression. You really want to squash it. And so if I solo this, you'll hear what I'm doing to these drums. So that's really squashing them, kind of distorting them, really tightening them up even more. But the way you do this is now I've got these uncompressed drums. And you kind of take the compressed ones and you just push them underneath, and then you put them together, and then you get this sound right here. And so parallel compression is really cool because you get the best of both worlds. You get the nice uncompressed signal where you keep those transients, and you get the nice really compressed signal where it's tightening things up, it's making it sound more aggressive, maybe adding a little bit of distortion as well. And then you kind of combine them and it creates a really cool sound. And so here is a very good use case of using compression in your mix. Okay, the last thing I want to talk about is called master bus compression. Now, you don't always have to do this, but it is an option. And I'm going to be showing you actually with a plugin that I developed called Cartograph. This is Cartograph. It is a powerful referencing and mastering plugin. And it actually has all of its own processors built in. You got a bus compressor right here, but I'm actually not gonna use this one. We actually have this set up over here, external. You can grab and you can import any plugin that you would like to create your own mastering chain within Cartograph, and it's really helpful because you have this gain matching tool, which makes it really easy to go back and forth and gain match to understand what you're actually doing to your track. So I'm going to leave this on, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hit bypass, and I'm going to play the drop section of the track, and then I'm going to click bypass, and I'm going to go back and forth, and I'm going to show you what the compressor is doing, so to see if you can hear a difference. Let's go ahead and play it, and I'll go back and forth right now. So it is very subtle, and it is kind of the point to be subtle when mastering, but it did tighten it up a little bit, and it kind of added a little bit of a punch to that kick drum in particular and kind of the drums. And so that's what you got to listen out for. And that is a way that you can use compression on your master channel. And then this is a topic for another video, but we always use limiting, pretty much always put a limiter on our master channel as well, which is another form of compression. It's essentially just brick wall compressing your track. And you would basically do this until in EDM, you want to kind of have an input gain and limit your track to be reaching about a loudness of around -8 to -6 LUFS. That's just a little bonus tip that I'm going to throw in here. And so I'm going to end the video just talking about Cartograph, and there's you can get a free trial below in the description below. This is a referencing plugin that I built. It is extremely powerful. You can put up to 16 reference tracks here. You can take snapshots of your mix here. You can see this is a snapshot of the mix. You can take a snapshot of the mixed version. You can take a snapshot of the mastered version of your track, and you can compare, and you've got all of these analysis tools that make it incredibly easy to compare your track versus your track's past self versus a reference like a pro track to really ensure that you're getting to that next level professional sound as quickly as possible. Referencing for me was how I kind of got better much quicker than before I was referencing. And so I'm really an advocate of referencing. And, you know, like I like to say, if you're not referencing, you're really just throwing darts like in the dark. And so go ahead and try this out. I put a lot of effort into this plugin, and I truly think it will help you reach that next level sound. So look in the description below, and I'll see you guys again next time.